The Port Adelaide Magpies have dominated the first half here at Alberton today to lead 10 goals 14 to Glenelg 4 goals 5. That's 24 scoring shots to just 9 by the Bays. And Port Adelaide lead by 45 points. They've dominated the first half. The Bays have to get back into it this term. It's mandatory. Phillips, half-back, slams the handball out to Tregenza, who's been on top on his centre wing. And in fact, he kicks to that position. Good mark. It's Scott Salisbury. It's the handball on to Duthie. 2 half forward they go. Big pack of players. Johnson in front. Good mark by the big Port Adelaide captain.
Yes, he certainly can get up. Take some good field marks, does Johnston. Changes direction, northeast. Jamieson with him. Northeast plays on quickly. Puts in a high kick, looking for Darren Smith. Couldn't take the mark, off hands, picked up by Obst. Round his body, big chance here now. Marnie, no, he did everything bar get that footy then. Thompson, back it goes. Simons, who's back on the ground after being dragged in the first quarter, or being taken off at least. Very, very hard out there at the moment. Marnie picks himself up, he can't believe it. The free kick is going the way of Robbie Thompson on the far side.
And a couple of changes there, as we mentioned. Simons back on the ground, McTavish off for Glenelg, so the best player for the last 2 weeks sitting on the bench. So he's ringing the changes as Graham Corns.
Good mark by Jim West on the centre wing from that kick by Robbie Thompson, and the Bays have to do it in this term. 2 half forward, Johnston or Phelps slams over the top, Ginniver the crumbs, and he's free in the centre. Little short chippy pass to Darren Smith, had to stop in the mud, slammed it on towards Obston Brown. Now Rowan Smith runs it through half forward, the shot from 40 metres. That's first blood for the Magpies. That's a goal to Rowan Smith, his second for the game. And the Port Adelaide move on to 11 goals 14, leading the Bays 4 goals 5.
It's just taken 2 minutes of time for the Magpies to kick their first goal for the third quarter, and Rowan Smith on that occasion streaming through the half-forward line after some good work by Darren Smith. And the Bays, they played quite well in that second quarter, but 2 goals in the time-on period just before half-time really gave Port that extra breathing space, and they've gone on with it this quarter.
11-14, 80 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 4-5, 29. 2.5 minutes gone in the third term here at the Alberton Oval. Big crowd. Johnston did that beautifully. Did it all by himself. Donovan overran it. Tried to toe off the ground, did Brown. Chance for Duthie. They're going in hard once again. And umpire Neville Thorpe, who's virtually dwarfed by a lot of these players, will come in and ball it up at centre half forward. Almost 3 minutes has elapsed in the third quarter. It's a very handy break now to Port Adelaide, who up until today were in second position on the league ladder behind North Adelaide. Smith takes a finger tipper. That's Darren Smith. He's a long way out. I wouldn't think he could score from there, but he'll put this right into the teeth of goal. He's already kicked one, taking plenty of time. Gets right onto that. Oh, beautiful looking kick by Smith. And it's just touched as it went over. Marnie tried to take a grab right on the line, but a behind to Darren Smith. Another one to Port Adelaide. And it's 11-14, Glenelg 4-5.
So the kick in by Smith to the outer side. That's the defensive side today. There's a gentle breeze pushing to the outer side. Big pack went up.
Oh, gee.
It's been awarded. It's to Obst. Obst back in the side today after suspension. Comes across to centre half forward, finds Ginniver. Quickly on to Rowan Smith again, the danger man. The left foot shot. It's a cross. And out of bounds on the full in the left forward pocket. Well, it didn't work for Rowan Smith that time, but gee, is he a danger. So Smith to take the free kick. Last line of defence. Keeps it grandstand side, half-back flank. Up high they go. Dean to Bow. Handled that nicely. Gets it on to Donovan. From centre wing down to half forward. Hugs the boundary line. Northeast in perfect position. Takes it. The pressure was from Jamieson.
Yeah, good solid mark there by Northeast. And he has it in the back pocket at the moment. Puts it towards centre wing. Johnston and Milliken. Johnston a big mark. In front of Milliken. Now, I wonder if he went to play on. Well, the umpire said he did, so there's no getting out of it. And Russell was just a bit keen. There's the Bay camp. I think it was the Bay camp anyway. They were nodding their heads. We're all nodding our heads up here too. Back it goes, McDermott. Hodgman got himself into trouble. Glenelg through numbers. And a chance for them to go forward. Lyndon Bowe. Lovely looking kick by Lyndon Bowe into the forward pocket. Here's a chance now for Russell round his body. This could trickle through for a goal. Jamieson. Well, the crowd don't like the result, and it looks as though it's going to be a free kick against Delaney, who, as you can see, isn't all that pleased with it. And he's really giving Michael Abbott a bit of detail. So the action is going to be with Jamieson, and just not, I wonder if Roger Delaney would like to come back as an umpire, perhaps.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
So all action with Jamieson, and he gets a goal. So that's his first, and a much-needed one to Glenelg.
Well, Jamieson there, recipient of what we could, I suppose, call a doubtful free kick, and Roger Delaney wasn't very happy with the decision at all. But doesn't matter how long or how hard you talk to the umpires, you'll never change their mind once they blow that whistle. And Jamieson, well, he's in the forward line there, roaming around, and if the Bayes to get back into this game, well, he's got to kick a few more of them.
And this is the quarter they have to do it. That was a handy one for them. They still trail by 46 points, however. And the battle rages in the centre there. That's going to be another bounce situation there. The players are going in very hard at it. Umpire Abbott to get things going once again. Right in the centre of the ground, 11 goals, 15 Port Adelaide, 5 goals, 5 Glenelg, 26 scoring shots to 10 shows the dominance. And here's a chance for the Maggies to go in again. And the big captain day is certainly showing his value around the ground with his marking in particular, but he's got to go all the way back. So a bit of a hold-up in play.
Well, I don't blame him for doing that. There's no Bay player on the mark, and I think he had every right to play on then, and quite strangely the umpires called him back.
So finally we get underway again. 2 half forward for Port Adelaide. Seaboden coming across, so too Hines. Big packet half forward for Port Adelaide. Very difficult to get the ball out. All bodies going in hard. Finally Ginniver does. Hodges a chance. The touch by Smith made it difficult for him, and now Smith and Thompson combine in that back pocket. It's finally run over the boundary line by Lyndon Bowe, the boy from Broken Hill. So the throw in the left forward pocket. Port Adelaide in attack.
7.5 minutes gone in the third term. Over the top, Seabowen, picked up by McDermott. Hodgman, out it goes. Lyndon Bowe, centre wing, over centre wing actually. No one able to take it cleanly. Phillips is being harassed by West, and it's out of bounds between centre wing and half forward.
And quite strangely in this game, both centre half forwards and centre half backs from both sides haven't featured a great deal in the game.
Throw-in taking place, almost in front of the commentary position. Abernathy, tackled by Dean. Good enough to get away with it, though. Phelps, long handball to Tregenza. He's got northeast if he wants to. He does give it to northeast. And there's that unusual kicking style, but it's effective. He puts up a long kick looking for Smith. Seabowen couldn't quite judge that. Holding the ball, well, controversial decision. Seabowen not happy about that.
And I mentioned about the centre half forward, centre half backs, and there we are, they're both in the picture now.
Darren Smith, right into the teeth of goal. Players set themselves. Hodges, Marnie, goal.
Well, a great goal there by Marnie. A typical Rovers goal. He was waiting at the bottom of the pack. All Rovers should be waiting, and there's a beautiful flighter kick into the forward line there by Smith. And that takes Port to 12 goals, 15, and careering away from Glenelg at this stage. And it's been all the Magpies so far this third quarter.
Wayne Marnie back into the side after that 3-match suspension, and he's an important player to Port Adelaide, isn't he, in those tight, crushed situations. Plenty of courage.
Aggression, they call it.
Well, back in the centre, Russell Johnston took it from the bounce, but couldn't do much with it, and finally McDermott comes away with it. His boot went just about as far as the ball as Abernathy places it beautifully for Hutton. And Hutton has dropped down between his centre wing and half forward on numerous occasions today, and has been found with some good passes by his Port Adelaide teammates. Well, there's 15 metres. Mark, you don't agree with that, or what?
Oh, no, I do, for sure, yeah.
So Hutton brought 15 metres closer, just outside his distance, lands it at the end of the square. Rowan Smith the flight, so too Hodges. Ginniver off the pack, puts through the goal. Wait on the goal umpire, yes, and that's two brilliant small player type goals the last two for Port Adelaide as they move to 13 goals 15, leading the Bays 4 goals 5.
2 goals in 2 minutes to the Magpies, and once again you see Geneva saying, well, whatever you can do, Wayne Money, I can do just as well. Got the ball off the bottom of the pack and dribbled it through. Port Adelaide, as we mentioned, just taking this game by the scruff of the neck, and the Bays really aren't giving a yelp at the moment.
I think we should mention what's going on behind play. There's a gentleman up there over on the scoreboard who's doing his job. He's doing it well too. He's getting the scores up and he's getting them accurately. And poor old Johnny Robinson, every time he wants to give a score, the gentleman who I'm sure we'll get a shot of shortly is just in front of the crucial figures. Anyway, over there with West and also Northeast. It's over on the far side. There's the gentleman. He does a great job. Not sure of his name, but he's probably been doing it for a while. And whenever Johnny Robinson wants to give a score, he's standing in front of in front of the vital statistics. Anyway, I know John's cooled down a bit now. Far side of the ground, Johnston, Hobbs, and Port Adelaide once again going forward. Williams to Abernathy, and Abernathy's pass, you can bet your life it'll be a beauty. Just out in front of Hodges. Back it goes to Hutton. He's starting to get a few more touches in this quarter after having a big first term. Into the left forward pocket. There's Salisbury working hard, as he always does with Geneva. And McTavish is on. Didn't catch who came off.
I missed it also, Mark.
So we'll try and check that out.
So the throw-in the left forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Chigwitten, we think, is that Glenelg player to have left the ground for McTavish to come on. And it's the Bays now working out a defence through Duthie. Outer side, Simons versus Tregenza. Look at the pace of young Tregenza. He's had a good game today as he hooks it back. Stephen Williams is the target. Gathers it, set upon by Dean, who robs him of the football and gets it out to McDermott. In turn, Thompson has to get rid of it quick and does. Down to half forward. Over the top of the pack went Jamieson. On in a flash to Hodgman. Now this looks better for the Bays. Left forward pocket to the lead of Russell. Gathers. 40 metres out from goal. Tries to get it to Butterick. Upset by Delaney. Hodgman again. Hooks it round the body. In position, Port Adelaide. The quick kick forward. It's a scrambly passenger play at the moment. But Port Adelaide come out on top. Brown to Delaney. Across the centre wing as the crowd roars in towards the leading forwards, but Duthie upsets the pattern of play.
Sorry, John. Yes, he's a reliable defender as Duthie. Glenelg go forward once again. No one able to take the mark. Picked up by Northeast. The crowd once again getting pretty vocal as Northeast puts them into attack towards centre half forward. But once again, the defence of Glenelg holding up at this stage. And that is Scotty Salisbury. Over centre wing, up towards half forward. Players set themselves, and there are the hands of Russell Johnston. In the middle of the pack, he's a very strong field marker. Back where it came. Pack fly again. No one able to take it. Knocked away up toward the centre wing on this grandstand side. Salisbury again. Back it goes to Jamieson. Picked up by Marshall. Marshall's kick towards centre half forward. He was looking for Hodgman. He's being harassed by Abernathy and also Fiarchi. And George Fiarchi can't believe that wasn't holding the ball. Umpire Neville Thorpe will bounce it.
A real battle of defences at the moment, isn't it? Both defences holding up extremely well.
Centre half forward for the Bays. They trail at the moment by some 48 points. In fact, 58 points. As they push it into the left forward pocket, into the waiting arms of Roger Delaney. Brings it grandstand side. Andrew Hobbs all on his own at half-back. Takes the mark. Brett Dean applies the pressure. There's the left foot pass to David Hines. Gathered it beautifully. Back to Hobbs. Centre wing. Can they get across half forward this time, Port Adelaide? Hodges. Out the back, Hutton. Goes to ground. Bow the chance. Too slow. What a great tackle by Timmy Geneva. And the throw-in now in the left forward pocket for Port Adelaide.
14 minutes gone in the third quarter. The score 13-15, 93 Port Adelaide. Glenelg 5-5, 35. The throw-in taking place between half forward and the forward pocket for Port Adelaide. Brown. No one there though. McTavish changes direction, goes to the outer side of the ground. Tregenza and Simons. Simons has Tregenza. Tregenza in front of Simons. Free kick. Well, Tony Simons not having the best of days, Dexter.
He's having a dirty day, Tony Simons. Everything he does is just going against him.
Tregenza goes across the face. Hines. So the big fellow, Duthie, is not happy with that result. have been outpointed. He's already kicked a goal. Glenelg have been outpointed up until this point. 15 minutes in the third quarter. There's Hines' kick. It's a beauty. Straight through.
Well, Hines, one goal in the first quarter, his second goal this quarter, as a result of some relentless pressure applied by both sides for the last 5 minutes, both attacking and being repelled by the respective defences. On that occasion, after a free kick to Simon Tregenza, put it in high to Hines, who, I must say, has led very well through that forward line today. We haven't seen much of Darren Smith. Hines seemed to be doing a lot of running around in the half forward line there. But as it was a goal to Port, and they extend their lead even further.
Well, we're about halfway through the third term. Port have added 4. Glenelg have only added 1. Glenelg, I think, really needed to get their act together in this quarter if they want to get back into this game. Well, Phillips kicked that sideways. He's chasing it again. Showed surprising dash, the big centre-half back. He has the ball at the bottom of that pack. It's going nowhere.
And there you see two Glenelg players trying to hold that Sherman tank of Greg Phillips there, and still he was moving forward.
He slaps the ball as he gets up, but it was a great effort from him. Well done. So umpire Abbott, centre wing, grandstand side, West the tap, Marshall the crumbs, gets the quick kick forward. In position though is Hutton. No Abernathy, in fact, as he bolts away, left foots it down to half forward. Scotty Sorsby in front. Timmy Ginniver takes the ball away from him. Rowan Smith swoops on it, gets a handball of sorts out to Tregenza. This is Williams, been passing beautifully today, and pops that one up in front of Hodges. Spoilt by Smith, the crumbs to Bow, back into the centre of the ground. West. Abernathy applied the pressure. Marshall the clever handball to Dean. 2 half forward they go. Out the back. Fiarchi running onto it. And now they'll work it out with precision as usual. Fiarchi and Delaney combining well again. The long kick, beautifully placed for Stephen Williams, who breaks away. Has a lead there from Timmy Ginniver. He marks, can play on and does. He'll kick it into the square. No, he won't. The lead of Hodges. Low he goes. Brilliant football again all the way from fullback, starting with George Fiarchi, and that's a pleased Maggie supporter on your screen.
Sheer weight of numbers by the Port side there. Just, you know, once again, the ball came from the full-back line to the full-forward line without a Bay player touching it.
7.5 minutes gone in this third term. Scott Hodges hasn't kicked a goal as yet. Coming in from the right forward pocket, he still hasn't kicked one amazing enough, despite the fact that he's leading the goal-scoring list in the competition. But Port moved to 14 goals, 16. Glenelg, 5 goals, 5.
Seabohm kicks the ball to the outer side of the ground. He's got Russell. Over there is Tony Simons. And something seems to be going on. The crowd getting pretty excited. I guess if you have a look at the scoreboard, you'd probably realise why.
What I reckon it was is Simon's got the Bronx cheer from the crowd there. Mark, he's had a dirty day, as we mentioned, and getting one of his few touches, much to the delight of the Port crowd.
18 minutes has elapsed in the third quarter. Over the shoulder, Russell Johnston gets the free kick. Centre wing, far side, getting pretty cold and dark down here. Hines had it knocked away from behind, picked up by McDermott. That was a little bit high, surely. Holding the ball, Williams.
Gets it into the centre, finds Timmy Ginniver. Mark Hastings appalled by that decision. What a beautiful handball by Ginniver. 25 metres to Fiarchi at half forward. Into full forward it goes. The spoilers are there. Umpire Neville Thorpe's blowing the whistle. Indicated over the shoulder against Scotty Hodges. And this surely must be his first goal, 15 metres out straight in front.
Well, he's kicked 6 behinds on the trot to take his tally to 44 goals, 34 for the year. So if he misses this, I'd be inclined to walk to the bench and say, right, it's not going to be my day.
All right, we'll keep you on that, Dexter.
So Port Adelaide 100 points, lead Glenelg 35, 65 points the advantage as Hodges lines up for his first. He's finally got one. So now they lead 15 goals, 16 to Glenelg, 5 goals, 5.
Well, a nippy free kick to Hodges there, and by the looks of things, he's being moved out to centre half forward and Smith to full forward. And I mentioned earlier in the telecast that Hodges may kick 6 points on the trot before he kicked his first goal, which he's done that, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens from now. And I also noticed, I think, Dennis Russell back in the back pocket, which is a more familiar position for him to be in, and quite obviously he didn't enjoy his jawn up forward.
I think Neville Smith, who's standing Hodges, is probably the luckiest player on the ground, because Hodges could have had 7 or 8 but he's only got one as it's turned out, with a bag of behinds. Marnie, Williams, and the Port machine starting to really hot up. Smith. Beautiful handball across to Hines. This is going to be a goal. Bang. Third goal. And Port Adelaide, well, we've played 20 minutes in this quarter. I can't see them being beaten, Dexter.
No, not from this position. They're playing so well. I've got Dookie in the ruck. The Bay's trying to get a bit of spring in the middle there, but Johnson jumped right over the top of him. The ball went forward very quickly. Darren Smith, a little nudge, got Smith out of the way, and Hines found himself in the goal square all by himself to kick his second goal.
It's the third goal, in fact, Dexter.
Yes, you're correct.
It was interesting, too, to note that it was Stephen Williams from the centre who provided that ball to Darren Smith. He had a brilliant first term. It was cut out of it in the second term by David Marshall when he went to the centre, but it's coming back into it again in this term.
Certainly is a very important player for Port. That is Stephen Williams.
So umpire Abbott in the muddy patch in the centre. Big fist forward by the Bays, swooped on by Heitzman, who kicks to half forward. There was West, who hooks it round the body, and he hasn't had a big day, West, against Phillips. Mark attempted by Butterick, couldn't do it. Melican is there, hooks it back in towards the square. Phillips, it's run over by Fiarchi, but gets the effective handball to Delaney, and they get it out to half-back and Stephen Williams. He's free in that position. 20-metre handball to Marty, all on his own. Metres and metres to spare. Third bounce carries him across the half-forward line. Fourth, he gives it to Brown. Back to Marnie, 30 metres out. Right forward pocket, played on the goal umpire. Bad luck, Wayne Marnie, as the crowd boos. It deserved a goal. Port moved to 16 goals, 17, leading the Bays 5 goals, 5.
They're a hard mob down here at Alberton if you fancy booing after that passage of play.
So Smith puts the ball back into play for Glenelg. Duthie, Donovan. They run it out of defence. Oh, they need goals for sure. Over the head of Jamison. Here's Northeast. He'll run onto the ball. No, he overran it. Marshall back to Jamison. And the Bays are desperate for some scores here. But they just can't get past these defenders. Delaney is one of them. He's had a starring game. Timmy Geneva looks as fit as a fiddle too. Obbs, after suspension, comes back and plays for Port Adelaide. It's a winning side at this stage. They're doing as they like. And Hines, as Hodges has taken a spectacular mark. He gave it across to Brown. Brown's going to put this into the forward lines, looking for Hines. Couldn't take the mark. Marnie, can he kick a goal this time? No, it'll be Smith. Goal!
As easy as you like. His second goal, Darren Smith. Both have been on the end of some brilliant work by his teammates further afield. On that occasion, Port just bulldozed their way into the forward line. You know, really, the Glenelg defence had no answer to that sort of play, and you could just see, we had 2 or 3 minutes beforehand that the Magpies were going to kick a goal, and such is their dominance at this stage. You can see the Bay players walking around, not really knowing what's going on.
Once again, Dexter, too, it started all the way from full-back with Roger Delaney, swung it all the way down the ground.
He's a certainty for mine to play in Melbourne next week.
So Port Adelaide 17 goals, 17, 119, going on their merry way against a hapless Bay side, 5-5-35. An enormous lead of 84 points. Seabohm in trouble, got it to McDermott, hooked it over his shoulder. Johnston running onto it, centre wing out of side. Gives it to Stephen Williams. He's been using the ball beautifully. Puts it down, just touched before it got to Marnie. Out comes Thompson. Long handball, Hodgman. Half back. Tries to get around and does. Tim Geneva. 2 half forward he goes. Jim West in position. Spoilt by Phillips. Fiarchi tried to run past a player. Couldn't do so. Jamison applied a good tackle, but they say he's held him too long. Bit lucky.
An outstanding performance there by Port Adelaide. They went on and won the match by 117 points. 23-27, 165 to Glenelg. 7 goals, 648. Port Adelaide continue to dominate with North Adelaide this year, and on the other hand, Glenelg, they have their problems. Well, one of Port Adelaide's many good players was Paul Northeast. Here he is speaking with John Robinson.
Ready? Well, Paul, magnificent effort today by Port Adelaide. That's have to be as good as you've played all year.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good team effort today. It's very good indeed.
To win by 117 points, and you had 13 goal scorers. That's incredible.
Yeah, it is. The whole team worked well together all day. We aim to do that today, really belt the Bays. It's a good effort by everybody.
You certainly did. Well, 117 point, when you have to play well to do that, you guys back in defence just work together so well as a unit.
Yeah, this year we are combining very well together. You know, we're like a family, the whole team.
Yeah, Roger Delaney and George Fiarchi, yourself and the rest of the guys down there. The other two players that looked like they welcomed to be back in the side today was Obbs and Marnie. They put in good games.
Yeah, they were fantastic. The aggression on the ball and the skills of both players, you know, really helped us today. It's great.
You talk about the skills, the team skills, and the use of the ball was brilliant. I thought particularly Stephen Williams. He used that ball so well.
Yeah, he worked hard 4 quarters today. It was a great effort from him.
The third quarter in particular, I don't know what Jack said to you at half-time, but you came up with 9 goals. What did he say to you?
Oh, he just, you know, said that they're frightened and everything, and if we go on and keep committing our bodies and hitting in hard, we'll just run away with the game.
Your own game, Paul, on the half-back line, you've slotted in there very well. You've come up through the ranks here at Port Adelaide?
Yeah, started under 15s and come up through the ranks, yeah.
And worked your way through, and you've certainly fitted in very well to a very solid defence.
Yeah, it's good defence, work well together. It's great.
Great. Well, thanks for your time, Paul, and all the best from here on.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Great.
John Robinson speaking there with Paul North-East. An outstanding performance by Port Adelaide. Checking the scores of all 5 matches played today, there's some interesting results. Sturt defeated Norwood at Footy Park by 51 points, so Norwood's problems continue. South Adelaide, they won their 3rd match in a row. That is sensational news, defeating West Adelaide at the Adelaide Oval by 3 points. Another close one at the Elizabeth Oval. Central District defeated West Torrens by 86 points, so the Bulldogs redeeming themselves after last week's loss. Mandamaker kicking 12 goals there. At the Alberton Oval, Port Adelaide demolished Glenelg by 117 points, and at the Prospect Oval, North Adelaide, in a very narrow game, defeated Woodville by 5 points. $3,267 footy treble. Checking the top 10 here in South Australia after round 11. North still undefeated. Port with just 2 losses in 2nd position, then 2 games down to Central. Torrens dropped to 4th, West in 5th position. And Norwood, well, they're 2 games out of the 5. They're in trouble, so are Glenelg. But the interesting thing is that Norwood have won the same amount of games as Sturt and South, and that is just 3 for the season so far. Leading goal kickers, Mandamaker, as I said, he kicked 12 today, goes to 54. Hodges with 2. And the best of the others today, Chris Lindsay 3 and Sean Tasker, who's gradually moving up, and he kicked a 3 for North Adelaide. Scores in the VFL. Well, Fitzroy defeated Richmond by 28 points. Melbourne defeated St Kilda by 8 points. Collingwood over North Melbourne by 52 points. And in a very low-scoring game, look at that, Essendon 3 goals 10, Footscray 3 goals 5, so it was the Bombers by 5. And Carlton win again. They defeated the West Coast Eagles by 23 points. Last night, Hawthorn over the Brisbane Bears without any problems. The top 5 over in Melbourne, Hawthorn on top, Melbourne in 2nd position, Geelong, Essendon and also Collingwood. That is the 5. And of course tomorrow Sydney play Geelong. Now in South Australia next week on Saturday, the South Australia versus Victoria State of Origin game at the MCG. That should be a beauty. And also on Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And this should be a good game despite the fact there'll be a lot of players out. Port Adelaide and North Adelaide, and that game at Footy Park. Dexter Kennedy joins us. It was cold down at Alberton, but I guess it'll be pretty warm in those Port Adelaide change rooms.
Well, that's the best I've seen Port play all year. And you look at Port, they've had 90 shots at goal over the last 2 weeks. That's an incredible effort by them. And, you know, you look at the old saying, all play well. You could sort of pin that on Port Adelaide today. They just absolutely creamed Glenelg.
Are they playing better this year than they were last year, Dexter?
Well, I didn't see much of them last year, personally. But on that performance today, they'd have to go play a lot better to sort of... To outdo that performance today. And
Stephen Williams in the centre?
He was superb today. I think he got value for every one of his kicks. His foot passing, left to right foot, 40 metres plus, was excellent today.
And what about the wings? They did particularly well there, didn't they?
Well, before the game, I thought perhaps Port might be in trouble there. They had 2 experienced performers on the wing in Marshall and Simons. Now, Tregenza and Hutton killed them today, and actually Simons was taken from the ground in the first quarter.
Poor old Tony, I felt sorry for him.
He had a terrible day.
They've got a few to aim for, haven't they, up forward? But once again, and we say it every week, it starts from defence for Port.
Well, Delaney, Fiarchi, Phillips wasn't really outstanding today, but he killed Jim West. Did it quietly. North-East on his half-back flank, they all performed well today and just pushed the ball forward time and time again.
OK, and McDermott, how did you see his game?
Well, he got through the game. Good news for Glenelg. He got through the game OK, and to me, he kicked their first goal. A good start for him. But I think a few more games under his belt, he'd be as good as he was, good as he ever was, put it that way.
Dexter, let's have a look quickly at the other game. South Adelaide, 3rd win in a row.
Yes, good effort by South beating West today. Well, West were desperate for a win today to try and consolidate that 5th spot.
And Sturt, they proved that they can beat Nord, and Nord have their problems.
Well, it was 9-4 to 4 points in the last quarter, Sturt over Nord. So it was a tight game up to three-quarter time. Good on Sturt.
And we've got a couple of other games. Central and Nord, they both won their games. Thanks, Dexter. Well, that's our program for tonight. Don't forget league football action tonight. It's late. It's at 11:20, but I'll still be up until then. Bye, everyone.